Hello friends, a new video, a new year, happy new year, blah blah blah. I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing about that already. So in today's video, I was going to base it on something that I'd seen quite a lot of over like some Facebook groups and stuff, and that was basically people saying things like, okay, so I used all my match betting bankroll over Christmas and now I'm basically having to start again, or I've taken out most of my bankroll and now I need to start with a much lower amount. What can I do to get back up to where I was, or what can I do to make a profit, or can I even make a profit with, say, like 50 quid or something along those lines? So what I wanted to do in this video is to just kind of go over some tips, some things, some little tricks that you can do that I've kind of learned along the way through my match betting adventure. And these are just little things that will basically make sure that you've always got availability to your money to some degree, because obviously if your money's in a bet, right, you've not got it available to use. So there's a few little tips and tricks that you can do to basically just make your money stretch further, which will help if you've not got much money in the first place. I mean, if you've got tens of thousands and thousands to just throw at this, then obviously it's a little bit easier, but when you've got a limited bankroll, then these tips might be helpful. So let's get into it. The first one, and this is pretty obvious I think, but it's about maximizing the offers that you get. So if you think about it this way, to make money, you've got to, in match betting, you've got to basically place bets, and you've obviously got to lay the bets, and you've got to take advantage of the free bets that you get. But if you're not placing any bets, or if you're not going through any of the offers on, say, OddsMonkey or anything like that, then you're not going to make any money. Now, the way I think of this is I used to play, I'm going on a bit of a nerd tangent here, is I used to play a lot of StarCraft 2 back in the day. When I was a bit more of a gamer, and one of the tips that we always used to get was that you should always make sure that you use all your resources, because what would happen is you would have to build a base essentially, and you would be collecting resources at the same time. So your money's coming in this way, and then you're building stuff that way. And they were always saying that you should always make sure that your resources are low, because if you're just stockpiling resources, or in match betting case, if you're just stockpiling cash in your bank, it's not doing any good. It's literally dead money. You're not making any money from it. So the first tip I would say is make sure that you get on as many offers as you can every single day, no matter how small. We'll go into that a little bit later, but even if you can lock in a couple of quid profit, it's worth doing, because you just basically want to make sure that that money isn't just sat there doing nothing in your bank, because it's useless just sat there in the bank. You need to make sure you're using that money every single day. So try and basically, what I try and do is I try and nuke my bank every single day, my entire bankroll. So I just basically try and put as much stuff on as possible, so it comes towards the end of the day, in the evening say, and I'll be like, right, I can't put any more on. I've got no money left until all these bets settle later today. So yeah, so use as much as you can through the day, and then you should be golden with this one. So yeah, so I think this one's pretty self-explanatory, but it's obviously, rule 101. The second thing I would suggest is using PayPal. Now this is especially true on like reload offers, and also with Smarkets. So the issue for me was last year, I would place my bets, I would place my lay bets, and they would be on Smarkets and whatnot, on all the exchanges, but then I would have to wait 3 days, or was it 2 or 3 days for that cash to then come back to me, because it would have to go through like the traditional sort of banking system. The best way to do that now is on Smarkets, you can now use PayPal. So literally, if you deposit with PayPal, you can withdraw back to it with PayPal as well. So always make sure you're using PayPal, because if you're using PayPal, then the money can come back to you. And it's the same with the bookies as well. When you're depositing into a bookie, you need to kind of ask yourself, how quickly can this money come back to me? So for example, now I use when I'm depositing with Sky or Bet365, and I'm just trying to think of the other ones that I've got that are on PayPal. There's a whole bunch of them, but as many as I can get away with, like the big ones, I'll basically try and use PayPal. That way I can get the money pretty much overnight. So if all my bets settle into Smarkets, for example, then I do a withdrawal at say 10 o'clock in the evening. I know that by the time I get up the next morning, all that money is going to be in my PayPal account, which I can get into my bank account, which means I can then use it for that same day. So if you can use Smarkets and you can use PayPal, then definitely go for it, and then use PayPal on any bookmakers that you can do, because obviously you want to make sure that you can turn that money around really, really quickly. So that's the second one. The third one is about mindset and basically how you're thinking about the profits. Now, I was guilty of this a while back, where I would kind of think that it's not worth getting into an offer that would give me like £1 profit, but I don't really see that as the case now. I kind of see it now as that I think any profit is good profit. Someone said to me once, you know, if you were walking down the street and you saw £1 on the floor, you would pick it up. And I would, to be honest. I wouldn't just walk past it and go, oh, you know, I can't be bothered to pick that up. So why would you do it in match betting? Granted, it takes a bit more time to do things in match betting, but it's not that much more time. You know, to put on a bet and a lay bet is not that much more than just bending down and picking up £1. So I think it's important to have this mindset of pinching pennies and, you know, basically grabbing any profits that you can get on, no matter how small, because they really do add up. This one's quite an interesting one. So this is like a profit and a stake ratio, and when I think about this, I think it kind of reminds me of pot odds in poker. So the idea being is that, say if you are wanting to do an offer, and that offer will earn you say £2, it could be that to earn that £2 in that offer, the odds are quite high, so you would have to basically lay it off at high odds on the exchange. So in that case, it could be that, you know, you have like £70 worth of lay, and then you've got your bet this side, obviously, and then that's where you make your £2. The way I look at this is, now I won't actually say don't do the offer, because like I've just said in the previous slide, you should do any offer that you can get onto. But what I tend to do is I try and prioritize. So the offers where they're quite a high ratio between the two, so in other words, I'm risking say 70 quid to earn £1 or £2, I kind of put those at the bottom of my list. And what I'll do is I'll put the ones at the top of my list that are kind of say risk £10 and make £4. You know, that's a much better ratio, because, you know, you're not locking this money down for this long period of time for this small amount. So yeah, just think about like what you're risking, well, not risking because that's the wrong word, isn't it, but what you're laying, what you're putting out there to just, you know, to tie up what you want to tie up and what profit you want to make. So think about the differences there. Betclubs, this is an easy one, just need to do them. Betclubs are really easy to do, really easy money, so definitely go for them. Really simple to do, you can do them every week. Just close the door, Mrs. has come in from shopping. Forums and Facebook, this is an obvious one as well, but keep an eye on all the forums, look for things that are going to happen, set up alerts and things. A good one is how to make £1,000 thread on Profit Accumulator. That's really interesting because it gets updated every day. And also Team Profit, there's people always posting stuff in there in the Facebook group, so that's another interesting one. As far as casino goes, I would say only do no risk casino. This basically comes down to how risk averse you want to be. It also comes down to the size of your bankroll. Like if you've only got a couple of £100, or if you've got like £100 even, or even less, then I wouldn't even entertain any of the casino offers until you've got a little bit more. The reason I say that is because even in low risk casino there is variance. You know, you can lose say £20 just by, you know, wagering that £20 in theory. It's unlikely, but in theory. So whilst you're building an initial bankroll, I just wouldn't bother with things that are potentially going to take away from you at this stage. I mean, by all means do them later on and down the line, but I wouldn't do them if you've got a very low bankroll. I would probably say, I don't know, start doing them when you feel comfortable with it, and then you can just kind of move on to them. You should definitely do them without a doubt, but you need to make sure that you do all the other offers that are guaranteed profit first before kind of going down the casino route. So just be careful with the variance on the bankroll for when you basically start doing these, because like I say, that tiny variance can have a big impact on a small bankroll. Keep a profit diary. This is especially true for me. It really motivates me to log all my profits. This is one of the reasons why I do all my profits on the Match Betting Journal website. It's just so that I can see it for myself, you know, how I've done today, how bad I've done today, how well things have gone. It's all motivation, so definitely do that. And the final thing is to use combined liability. Now I've got a video for this. I'll put a link in the description. Basically, the idea of combined liability is that if you've got an event, say a football match, if you lay if you lay say Manchester United to win, obviously you've got your lay bets there, but then if you lay say the opposite team, say I don't know, Leicester City to win, then because it's the same event, it combines the liability on the exchange. I've got a video for this, like I say, I'll put a link in the description, but it doesn't add all those liabilities up. It basically takes whatever the biggest liability is and uses that. So you can basically lay a bet on your exchange without sort of, you know, having to deposit more and do all these kinds of things. So that's a really interesting way to make your money stretch further as well. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I'll do another video later on in the week, and I'll catch you next time. Hope this has been useful, and I'll catch you later. Cheers, bye.